talking about data and insight, and I really wanted to bring it down to why we talk about these things, which is very much how do we deliver in the age of the customer, and why is it important to actually be worrying about Industry 4.0 and what does this actually mean for us? I think we all recognize we're living in an incredible world of change, and certainly it's never been more change than in the past year. For many of us, it was almost a year that we went into our first lockdown 2 days ago, last year, 2020. And some of the key drivers of this change, many of you will be hearing about. Am I echoing for all of you or just for myself?
No, Carmen, you're coming through loud and clear for us.
Okay, I'll just hear myself echo, which is quite traumatic. So the key drivers of change are very much the increase in digital connectivity. You're listening to me now from my home in Waimaku on country Wi-Fi. More and more data, cloud storage and technology, which I'm sure all of you in the room recognize. And one of the biggest changes that's driving the need for more data and more technology and knowledge and insights is us as humans and as people, and our expectations as customers. And so, let's see, so we very much live in the age of the customer, where we expect businesses to know us, we expect them to value us and deliver relevance, and we expect them to make our lives easy. And when they don't do this, we can actually get quite cross, and it's very much only possible with data and technology. And so obviously we're all aware of the most valuable brands in the world and how they leverage data, like Amazon and Uber. But, you know, many of those examples can be small ways that they show us through data and technology that they know us and reward us for their business. But it's very much only possible with data and technology. And, you know, I am obviously very biased in having built 2 data and technology businesses, but they are the most valuable businesses in the world. So when we talk about customer centricity and the need to leverage technology and data for people, this is what we mean, and it's very much about understanding how to use it to add value, regardless of our business, whether manufacturing, operational, government, or personal. And so it's very much the key to creating value and growth. So thank you for the introduction. As I say, I've got 2 businesses that do just this, and it's all been about taking data and turning that into knowledge and insights. And data insight works with anyone that has lots and lots of data, and Valocity very much takes data, and importantly property data, and puts it in the hand of the property ecosystem to make really important decisions through technology. And so I guess in terms of tonight, it's very much the opportunities around what are the lessons for execution, because we all know technology and data is the way of the future, and that it's certainly the way to build businesses and value for people. But I thought I would share what are the sort of life and entrepreneurial lessons that I've gained in executing in data and technology, because every business that we work with, they know they need to innovate. Everybody knows technology is important and data is important, but how do we actually execute on this and really leverage it to create value? The first and most important thing is the why, and it's really about assembling the right people and the right purpose. And when I talk about the right people, it's not only your own team, but also externally, to understand what is the problem that you're trying to solve with the technology and the data, and how do you actually understand that better than ever before and solve it better than ever before. So very much our success has been focusing on our why. Which sounds, you know, that very much you would think I was going to start with the technology or the data. But first you need to know, why are you doing what you're doing? What is the problem that you're solving, and why are you so passionate about solving it? Because when you approach it from that perspective, if you're working in technology and data, anything is possible. If you hire the right people and you have that creative thinking combined with the technical thinking, then you can really achieve and solve any problem that's out there. And so certainly the secret to our success, or the pathway to our success in both businesses, has very much been in our culture and our customer obsession of making it a better user journey, particularly for people when they're buying a home. It's such an emotive process. Why can't we make that better and faster? And it shouldn't be the way it's always been done. Our passion for transformation, when we were working in India, when we were even working to build our first automated valuation model for property in New Zealand and get chief risk analytics officers and banks to accept it, it was very much actually having that passion for transformation to deliver, and an agile mindset is so important because you're constantly approaching new problems that you really need to work through, as well as new opportunities. And so mindset and culture is absolutely everything. So it is all about people, in your own team and also who you're working with. Then we all know there's more and more data, and data insights started because lots of businesses that we work with said we have lots and lots of data, but no insights. And very much, it's not just about data for data's sake, but about the so what. And this has been such a fundamental thing for all the clients that we work with. How do they make data-driven decision making? And even on the boards, the charity board, you touched on my introduction that I'm working with UNICEF. Even at UNICEF, we have to make data-driven decisions to know what's the right thing to do to actually make the most difference and the most impact with the resources that we have available. And we saw this very much last year with COVID. Everybody talks every day, how many cases. And so actually everyone's looking at data everywhere. Suddenly, all of a sudden, it's becoming more aware. And actually, I know many of us probably have frustrations that people aren't making data-driven decisions in some of the decisions being made around that. What we have to recognize is that we're only going to have more and more data. And it's really not just about having data. And lots of businesses we work with have got lots of data and they think that's their asset. Unless you actually use the data and use it to predict, leverage, and execute on it, then you're not creating any value. So data is, I'm not even going to say data is like oil, but if oil is in the ground and no one turns it into petrol, it has no value if it's buried under your house somewhere. It really has to be about how do you actually turn it into something valuable, and something that can be creating data-driven decisions. It's important for us to recognize that most of the things that we've been taught are for a world that no longer exists. And I love the introduction before when Colart was talking about our children and the world they're going to live in. Actually, everybody needs to understand data. And it's quite exciting for me because I was in data long before it became cool. But really, we all need to be left brain, right brain thinkers in this new world. We need to be right brain thinkers to understand the human and the people perspective around the problem that we're solving and what is the impact that we're going to have with whatever we're creating or developing. And we need to have the left brain thinking to be able to understand how do we execute in the technology and in the data. And it's really important that we bring both of those views and all of those views together to achieve success. If we have technology and data without a people or human-centered design focus, obviously it can do all sorts of things that we might not want it to do. And there's many examples of that. And so that's the fundamental thing to recognize, understand where's your sweet spot personally or for your business and for your leadership team, and where do you have those gaps. And one of the examples is very much Cambridge Analytica and the Facebook debacle. I'm sure that Facebook didn't purposely decide to make their data available for it to be used in that fashion, but somebody, without thinking about the people focus, found a way to do that. And so, in everything that we talk about, this is going to continue to evolve. That data has a value, and people recognize their data is really important. And so, no matter what you're doing, trust and transparency is fundamental. And this is an example of that seamless delivery, but that trust and transparency that's just foremost to everything. Everybody talks about technology, and that's very exciting. But it's again not technology for technology's sake. And quite often when we're doing a transformation project with a client, if they're innovating, they start with technology, but they don't necessarily think about how they're going to harness technology and the difference that it's going to make. And in our space, very much working in fintech, I love Jack Ma and his example where they actually talk about TechFin. The technology first powers any financial solutions that they wish to launch. And they started with the tech to say anything is possible. And that's what's enabled them to scale and spin out and financial and beyond. I'm not even sure what version of their legacy technology that they keep on repurposing and sending it to the world. And one of the other great examples in our space and working in finance and banking is DBS, where they can actually scale very much so and actually leverage technology and grow at scale. And this is, certainly for those that haven't embraced technology, an incumbent. I love this example from DBS Bank, who we were lucky enough to work with in Singapore, and they want to be the Gandalf, and it really epitomizes everything around technology, data, and people, because the Gandalf is they want to be like the Google of open source. They want to be the Amazon of actually the leveraging data, the Netflix of recommendations, and actually bringing together the best conversation and the next best activity. The D is for DBS. They want to be the Apple. They want it to be simple and beautiful. They want to be the LinkedIn. So actually that community of always learning and never stop starting. And then very much the Facebook of actually bringing communities together through their ecosystem. And I thought that's a really powerful statement. And so to succeed, particularly for larger businesses that are there, it really is about removing silos and products. And many of us will have this example where we've interacted with the business that is not leveraging technology and data, and they're really not focusing just on the customer. I think the most important thing is also to never stop starting. And we've seen this ourselves very much when COVID happened. We're in multiple different markets around the world, and we had to then pivot and actually recognize what were the needs of our customers and connect the valuer to the property occupier through an app to take photos and geocode and timestamp and capture data so that valuations could continue. And so continuous innovation is really driven through, for us, collaboration to understand having that agile mindset that I touched on, and understanding when do we need to move and when do we actually need to go at speed even more so, but never being complacent. And so, everything that we're going to talk about in Industry 4.0, I'm sure with all your ongoing series, is that speed is everything. You just do not have the luxury of waiting. And I think in the current environment where we're seeing, certainly over the past year, the reactions of some companies and businesses and government even of hibernation versus innovation, the gap between those that are executing and embracing digital technology is certainly going to be bigger when we do come out of this craziness versus those that have really innovated and had speed, because change is happening now. It's happening all around us. It's happening really quickly. And, we will liken it to the frog in the boiling water, where the frog can jump out of the pot at any time, but he doesn't realize it's getting hotter and hotter. And, if I can't see you all while I'm doing the PowerPoint, but I'm sure you all have your phones close to you. We're all digitally connected. There's only going to be more and more data. We're only going to continue to evolve how we live our lives. And when we see the digital shopping, the remote working over the last year, everything is accelerated even faster than ever before. So I talk very fast and get excited, and I wanted to leave some time for questions. But really, for us, the top lessons have been that people are the path to execution, to leverage data and actionable insights. So not just data for data's sake, actually telling the story and answering the so what, and thinking agilely even about data, harnessing technology and partnering where you need to. That's really important. In technology, you just cannot do everything, and you never should try to. And I think that this is a really important lesson as well, particularly in technology. There's so many ways to connect into different ecosystems and platforms and APIs. So really focus on where you want to win, and in terms of technology, in terms of delivering for whatever problem that you're solving, and think about how do you partner to make that a better value proposition. One of the best examples I saw around that was Grab in Singapore, is competing with Uber, and the founder of Grab was on stage, which was incredible. I was speaking there as well at Money 2020, and I couldn't believe they just got the founder. And he said, they said, actually, we recognized last year our drivers also need insurance. So we partnered with insurer. Now we have this many millions of insurance clients. And then we recognised our drivers might need small loans, so we partnered with this bank, and now we've got X many million bank accounts leveraging loans through our platform. And basically what they're doing is thinking, what are all the other things that we can partner and we can connect digitally to deliver a better outcome for their customers? And that's why they've scaled so much, and they're really thinking outside in and leveraging technology and data to deliver those seamless experiences that are absolute game changers. The trust and transparency can't be forgotten. And I think, the most important thing for us is also never stop starting. So I talk very fast, and I'm going to just stop presenting there and talk to a couple of examples, if you can see me now, of how that all comes together. And I think, it's really considering how do you bring them all together and deliver to the customer's needs. And, one of those examples is Uber. Obviously, I'm quite happy for Uber to know where I am. They can't send the car if I don't share my geolocation with them. But if I'm walking past McDonald's and suddenly Uber says, hey, want to buy a cheeseburger, I'd be going, whoa, 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 that's not what I signed up for. So it's thinking about technology and thinking about data and the human experiences in a transparent way, that you're building trust and that you're allowing them to the customer to actually decide how they want to use them. And I think that's really, really important, thinking about people first and then leveraging technology and data to deliver those seamless experiences. So I know I talk really fast, and they did say leave some time for questions.